Hello and welcome to the next of our Excel key knowledge videos. This one talks about functions. What is a function? Well, a function is a small statement of code that accepts input parameters, values, and then processes these values into a result. And what we're going to do is look at some of the key ones that are actually useful in our use of Microsoft Excel. So you've got the sum, the average, the max, the min, the COUNTIF, the SUMIF, and the round statement. Each of these contains a very useful amount of values that we can look at. So the sum statement, for example, if I typed in equals sum, I can highlight a range. If I wanted to, for example, work out what the total food cost is, I could sum total that food cost using I-19 and I-20, and that would total those values. So that would make it 17, 747, 25. And so because we've been able to do that here, let's update this value here for the total food cost from being a specific value to using the sum formula. So I say equals sum and then put a bracket in there. Then I'll highlight the sum values. So in this case, it would be the number of adults food cost and the number of kids food cost. And then I close the brackets. And that information comes in very handy there. It also comes in handy for the drink cost. So I can put in the equals sum for the drink cost. And where's the drink cost? Well, these are the two values that we worked out earlier, the wine and the soft drink. And so I can highlight those two values and enter that value in there. Another value that is really useful is the actual total cost of the event. And if I look at the total cost of the event, 27,118.25, it's actually the sum total of the drinks cost, the food cost, the hall hire, and the band. So if I do an equals sum function here, I can actually enter the values in here. Now notice I could have said equals B11 plus B12 plus B13 plus B14, but it wouldn't have been as easy for me to write as that equals sum function. We do it because it's more efficient. It's more easy to use. So that's the reason why we use that function. Also down here there's a value for the total headcount, which is the overall number of people who are attending the event. And we can use the sum function here as well, which is very handy. We can use the sum total of the adults plus the sum total of the kids and get a total of 1222. That means if you change any of these values, for example, if I change kids from 111 to 110, I'll actually change the total headcount down here. And it may actually change some of the values that you've got here for the wine or anything like that. We'll just change this value back, and as you can see, the total headcount changes again. Now, another area where what we're looking to do is to have a look at what some other functions actually do. So let's just have a quick look at what the average function, max, min, count, COUNTIF, SUMIF, and round functions do. For the average, if I wanted to work out what the average food cost is, like adults and kids, I could type in average, and then I could get the food cost details for both of them, and it would give me an average. I could find the maximum value. If I wanted to find the maximum value of each of the different areas for the food, I could say drinks, food, hall hire, and band. I could say what is the maximum value that's there, and it would return the maximum value being 747.25. If I wanted to work out a minimum value, I can work out the lowest value. So I could type in equals min, and then I need to highlight a range. So again, I could, for example, highlight this range here, which includes dollars and overall values, and it would say 3.5, which is the lowest value out of these. 3.5 is lower than 12, is lower than 750, is lower than 1500. A count value is a little bit different. That counts the values in the cell, number of cells, in a range that contains numbers. So if I do a count, for example, of these 6 cells, 4 of them contain numbers. So the value that I should receive is 4, and that's exactly right. It's a useful value to be able to work out averages manually, or when you're looking at just the amount of people who are attending a specific event, or amount of values that you are looking to work through. The count value is very useful. If I want to use the COUNTIF statement, that's a little bit different. So the COUNTIF statement means that I count them if they are a certain value. Equals COUNTIF, and I can highlight the same range, and I might put in a criteria which is say greater than 30. And that gives me 2, 750 and 1500. And that's the end of this video. Thanks.